How many of you out there are actually beginner traders? Okay, stop right now, leave a comment down in the description portion of the video. Meaning the fact is you're still going through the process, the rigorous process of trying to figure out how to properly trade the correct way. All right, you've been using multiple trading strategies and one after another and you haven't had any success. But you have to first and foremost also believe in the strategies, because strategies do work. Some people just get a little bit confused because they are quickly, moving from one thing to the next, and then they're just kind of making a mess of certain things. Okay, so you have to understand what you're actually using while you're using it and grasp it. And if it doesn't work for you by going back and back testing and forward testing, then that's when you probably want to move on to something else. Correct? So again, if you're a beginner trader right now, leave a comment down in the description portion of the video. Just say, hey, I'm a beginner. I'm here. I'm looking to try to learn something. Just do that for me, okay? Because I like to see and know how many people out there are still struggling. We have a Discord community that where there are members that come together and talk about the strategy, in which I actually share, but they probably put their own little twist on it or find their own edge, and that is fine. I talk about that all the time. You have to trade what works for you at the end of the actual day. And I want to say this: if you're someone that has a specific strategy already and it's working and you're consistently profitable, please stick with that, okay? The old saying is, why try to fix something that is not broken? Today, I'm going to share with you just a simple way of using a strategy, and I'll talk about the same strategy over and over again, of how you can actually turn yourself from a beginner trader, all right, and become more of a seasoned or professional trader, all in a matter of just 15 minutes. And all we're doing really is trying to scalp. We're using a scalping strategy that will allow us to make money on the day, each day, okay, and profit. Also, if you're a beginner and you're someone that's struggling with actual market structure or don't even know what market structure is at all, leave a comment down below. I'd like to see a share of hands. Who are people or the individuals that are struggling? Because I'm here to let you know, if you spend some time watching the video content, you would more likely pick up on the actual strategy and how I trade, because it's very, very simple once you catch the gist of it. But you're going to have to understand market structure. You're going to have to understand supply and demand. You're going to have to be able to use multi-chart confluence, meaning using a higher base and a lower base chart. And you should already be doing that from a top-down analysis approach. You want to be able to look from a higher base chart and kind of move down to a lower base chart to find entries, because that's what it's all about. So basically what you want to do first and foremost starting off is, of course, you want to understand market structure. It is the key. It is king. It is imperative that you do so if you want to take quality setups, high probability setups for one, okay? So what you need to do is just basically identify what the actual movement or flow of the market is. Is it bullish or are we bearish? And even in market conditions like this right here, in which we're ranging, okay, we have this low where the market sold off and made a low here, came back up, started breaking some structure to the upside, and we have a high here. And after that, it does start in a little bullish leg to the downside, but then we kind of play in between the middle after that. So, prior to that kind of price action, I'm just kind of showing you real quick. It's understand what you're looking at. Highs, higher lows, highs, higher lows. Each time the market is making a new high and higher low, more likely it's probably breaking structure to the upside. If we start to fold down, okay, and start to push lower high, breaking structure below this area here, a new low, lower high, and breaking structure below this area and these areas over here, then the market shifts from bullish to bearish. So keep in mind when it comes to structure of the market, is it making higher highs, higher lows, or is it moving lower, breaking through areas of structure to the left-hand side of the chart, okay, just as well, making lower lows and lower highs. I covered a great video on market structure. So it's like a basic elementary type market structure video for all those that are currently subscribed to the Elite program, which is a private community. And it's only $6.99. You have access to that video. and spend time watching that, okay? It's a market structure 101 type video. And for anyone that's interested in becoming an elite member, the link is down in the description portion of the video. I'll quickly talk about that at the end of the video just as well. It's very inexpensive. It's only $6.99. I don't charge. I'm not here to kind of grab into anyone's pockets and charge them thousands of dollars or hundreds of dollars for a trading course or anything like that. I'm just sharing the way that I actually trade. And when you are actually engaging in signing up for to become an elite member, you're supporting my efforts as a content creator. And in return, I'm giving you back all the trade breakdown videos, or ones in which I post on there and break the trades down so you understand the setups, okay, and the strategy, which also you get that great market structure video and to include the video playlist. So I'll talk about that quickly at the end because I want to run through this right quick. But anyways, we're moving to the downside. So what we need to do is after that is identify key areas or zones in which we can trade from. Now, I want to say this, the key to the strategy as a whole, if you're looking for multi-chart confluence, meaning marking up first your higher base chart off the 120 range, because I trade range-based charts, okay? You can trade time or whatever chart you like. It's all the same because supply and demand is universal. But what I'm trying to say is that you want to mark up a higher base chart. That's what I do. Okay, so I'll mark up, either a supply or demand zone, depending on the structure of the market, all right? Now, if I mark up a zone off my higher base chart and I cannot find an actual lower base zone, meaning like if this was a supply zone, right, it is a supply zone, because we're moving and breaking structure to the downside after being bullish. Now we're bearish, got a leg to the downside, making lower lows and lower highs. I just said that before. Structure being broken down lower. This is a supply area right here, and it's a high probability supply area because we have a gap attached to the actual zone. So understand that first and foremost. When I'm talking about gaps, if you don't know, please spend some time watching the videos. All it is a small area or space in between where the supply area was created and the movement to the downside. So when the market broke with this bearish candle below this last bullish candle to the upside, it left a gap to where it didn't come back immediately to it. So there's a gap there, and that increases the probability of a trade, moving in your favor. Now, the thing I do then is move down to a lower base chart. When I move down to my lower base chart, my 24 range, if there is not a zone, meaning a supply zone inside of this larger 120 range chart zone that I initially marked up, then I'm more than likely not going to take interest in trading it if I'm someone that's a beginner trader and I'm specifically looking for multi-chart confluence. Can you trade specifically from this higher base zone here? Yes, but I do not recommend that for anyone who's a beginner trader that's trading with small funds and does not know how to trade the correct way. You're still in the process of learning market structure. You want to be using your small account if you're a beginner trader looking for high probability setups, both on the higher base and lower base chart. I'm going to show you an example of what I'm talking about, because not in all situations are you going to find or will there be a zone on the inside of the higher base zone, okay? And then sometimes the zone may tap the zone and it may not be a zone on the inside. And what I'll do is I'll wait for a structure break. I'll show you an example. A structure break away from the zone on the 24 range chart, and then for it to pull back to within the zone, meaning the higher base zone where there is a 24 range supply or demand zone, okay? I'll show you an example right quick. Okay, so this is a high probability demand zone right here, okay? On the 4th of October, it comes back, it taps the zone. We're looking for that. We got it marked up on a 120 range chart. We're going to go down now to the 24 range chart. Now you see where the market pulls down to this area here. That's the higher base zone that got marked up. But there's no, I got to squeeze in because there's really no way to do this other than squeezing in so you can see. There's a high probability demand zone on the 24 range chart right here, as you can see. And there's one right below it, which it didn't tap into. But this first one right here, it invalidated because it broke right below it. So what I'll do then is if I see where there's a structure break to the upside, okay, in this case here, the market pushed up, pulled back, pushed higher, okay, and it broke structure when it pushed higher. I'm gonna show you right here. Broke structure, pushed up, broke structure here, all right, and it continued breaking structure as it moved higher, taking out this high right here as well, breaking structure. So there's a demand zone resting back here that also has a gap attached to it. Okay, So I'll wait for the market to pull back within the higher base zone where there is now a newly created demand zone resting on the inside. Because what I'm doing is I'm still taking the trade in the direction based on the demand setup from the higher base zone, meaning, you know, it taps into that zone, it's bullish as it was right here. Okay, you see, bullish here, comes back into it. I'm expecting for reaction there. So on the 24 range, when it became bullish and came back to it, we're both in bullish mode, meaning we're hitting the higher base 120 range demand zone again, but also a demand zone on the inside that was just created. Hopefully that makes sense. All right. Another example I'll show you. You see where we're breaking structure to the upside here? This is a zone right above this zone here. Now this is where we have a zone within the zone. Again, this is on October the 4th. So this is a valid demand zone resting right here as well. I got marked up on the higher base chart. I'll go down to the lower base chart and here we go. Okay. Lower base chart, here it is. Bigger zone, the 120 range, smaller zone, the 24 range zone inside of the 120 range zone. Okay. We multi-chart confluence, marking up two zones, higher base, lower base. Okay. This increases the chances of the trade, you know, particularly working out in our favor here. So the market taps the actual zone there. We get the reaction and then, you know, it goes to the upside. Okay. Because when you're looking for multi-chart confluence here, understand that. And by doing so, this helps us get into trades that actually work out in our favor. Here's an example of a supply zone. I was just showing you the structure, moving to the upside, then moving to the downside. This was yesterday's price action right here. This was a valid supply zone resting right up here at the top here. We were breaking higher, making higher highs and higher lows before moving back down to the downside, okay, breaking a bit of structure. And then it comes back and taps this valid supply zone at the top right here. On the 120 range chart, I'm marking it up. Now, this is that supply zone resting right here on the 24 range. It taps into a pullback. There's a zone that I marked way over here. That's a zone inside of the higher 120 range zone. So there's a 24 range supply zone resting right there. The market taps into the higher base and the lower base zone, reacts right there or rejects it, and then it just sells off to the downside. You can see it here even more clear on the 120 range chart. That's all it is multi-chart confluence, guys. If you spend some time watching the videos, you know, especially if you're an elite member, I definitely go into detail about, you know, stop loss placement, profit target areas, and things of that nature. And even here on the channel, you can watch the videos, and I've covered a few trades to where I talk about, you know, where to place your stop loss or where to place your profit target and things like that. And I've got a ton of other video content that helps individuals that are, you know, trying to understand the concept of market structure and a solid strategy to trade. Now, supply and demand, I will say this right now, has been a little bit hit or miss lately. So you may have to kind of, you know, that's why I kind of intermixed or brought into the picture about, for those that ask questions about, can I trade from the higher base chart, the 120? Yes, you can definitely do so, but you really need to have the capital to be able to do so because you may incur some drawdown. So, you know, if you got a smaller account, I would not recommend, if anyone is trading, maybe even the micros, trading directly off the higher base chart, off of these, you know, 120 range supply or demand zones. I prefer to move down and zero in on more redefined or defined zones within the zone, if that makes sense, okay? But I appreciate everybody tuning in to the videos and leaving comments and leaving feedback, whatever the case is. Again, if you're a beginner trader, you're struggling with market structure, or you're a beginner trader, you're here watching for the first time, leave a comment down below. I'd appreciate it. If you're interested in joining and becoming an elite member, as I said, scroll down to the description portion of the video. Click on the link right below the Discord link that says become an elite member. 2 tiers will pop up. Make sure to choose the one for $6.99. That's going to give you access. You'll become an elite member. That's going to give you access to the trade breakdown videos, the video playlist, and that video covering market structure. Outside of that, I appreciate everyone that tunes in on a daily basis. If you're not a subscriber, please take the time to go ahead and sub by clicking on the subscribe button right now. Turn your post notifications on so you don't miss any of the uploads. And last but not least, if you could do me the biggest favor, click on that like button so that this information and video content like this can get shared out here on the platform. Thank you. Take care. And I'll see everyone in the next video. And if you're trading, please be safe in the markets.